You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's Believe After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Believe After Show.
I can read.
Really?
Yeah. That's not what I want to talk about, though.
We want to talk about Believe.
Yes. And they gave us something to talk about tonight. Hello, everybody. You are here with me, Courtney Henderson, your host for the Believe After Show. We are rounding out the season, and I have my lovely co-host with me tonight.
Hi, guys. I'm Tate Aquillano.
What's going on, guys? Bobby DeMuro.
Thank you guys so much for joining me, and thank you for watching. We also have our Studley, as per usual, because
He's our
what would we do without him?
I mean, it just wouldn't be right.
He's not on the couch today, though.
He's not. Well, we don't have a couch in the studio.
Yeah, that's true.
He's like in the attention up here.
Yeah.
I think so.
Trust me, he's fine. He's between the girls. Maybe, are you bitter?
That's true.
I
No,
think
listen,
he is.
any guy between you two is a lucky man.
That's what I'm saying. So you're a little
Exactly.
bitter that it's Studley and not you.
Yes, I am. Okay.
All right, well, let's get to it. The first thing that we should talk about tonight, which is our season 1, episode 11, Revelation is the name of it tonight. We're going to talk about the biggest thing that happened. Bo and Skouras meet. I don't even know where to start. Just, Bo wanted to end this. She's tired of running. So she actually says to Tate, I want to do this. This is a great idea. What do you think? And he says, it's a beautiful idea.
Well, let's start even one before that. The very, very, very first scene, which was quick, was Bo's first vision when she was dreaming. And her vision was of Tate pushing her on the swing, which was sweet.
Then it gets
And
crazy.
then it gets into Skouras, which we know is a bad guy for Bo, and it's a negative thing.
It was Winter pushing her on this week.
No, it started in Tate, and then it progressed.
Skouras.
Oh.
And then it went to
Then
Skouras,
Winter.
and then Winter, and that's where it was. Is when we learn what happens at the end of the episode, we understand what that vision means.
Yep.
Because Winter wasn't protective in that vision like he usually is protective of Bo. He was a little aggressive, and he kind of pushes her away on the swing and the thing. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it, but seeing the rest of the episode, now I get how significant that is.
Right.
It was a very it really freaked me out, this nightmare. Her, we're always used to this like flash of hers before every episode to kind of like give you what's going to happen. And when she turns around and sees Skouras, I'm like literally like kind of was like, oh my God, what's going to happen? Because like you said, it's never a good thing when Skouras is here.
Ever.
Yeah.
Although I must say, it was one of those, so they meet, Tate and her go. They find a very good way to kind of be unsuspecting as to why, like what they're doing, because Milton is dealing with Channing, which we'll talk about, but they're sort of on their own, and Tate's very good about just kind of saying, look, Bo can't be there right now, so we're just kind of out laying low, hardly laying low.
At first I was like, okay, this could be good, but did they really think about this? I mean, Skouras has been chasing them, this whole season. Let's just go and talk. Like, that's going to end this. Like, one conversation is going to put a stop to all of this.
I liked it, though, because the one downfall to me for Believe the entire season, last episode aside, which we agree was pretty bad,
Which is totally
made up for it.
Yes, exactly.
redeems.
But the one downfall to Believe consistently this year was the repetition. Winter never knows what to do. They're always running safe house to safe house. They're always running away from Skouras. Bo is always saving somebody. Look at how much we've talked about the same thing every single week. So at least this week, Bo finally decides to turn the tables. Dumb move to do it? Yes, absolutely.
See, I don't think it was a dumb
But-
move. I think the execution of the idea was what was dumb.
Well, they've proved that they are not big planners. They're usually just like, oh, idea, let's go, and not think of the consequences.
Right.
But, I mean, it was interesting to see the encounter between the two.
But it also, it had to happen, especially because, again, we see at the end of the episode, Skouras asking for help from Milton, from Winter. And so she had to go get that information from Skouras to be able to go confront Milton, to be able to go. I don't know why I'm calling him Milton. I mean, I know that's
You're on
his
a
name.
first name basis with Winter these days.
Moving up in the world. It only took 11 episodes.
Well, good, because you might not see him next episode because of what happened. So I'm glad you're calling him by a first name now.
Yeah. Well, now you're just don't. Why'd you do that?
I'm not saying he's gonna die. I'm just saying that Bo
I feel like
left
he's
at the end.
But he's gonna be in the season finale because
yeah.
Skouras needs him.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Heck yeah.
So anyway, so Tate and Bo go, and I love the scene where she's like, well, we can't just go, if it's this fancy gala, however you want to say it. And so they go shopping, but I'm like, dude, Tate, you zip up the pants before you come out of the dressing room.
He's rough around the edges. Cut him some slack. Like, guys, we are rough around the edges.
I thought we won't get into that conversation, but I
She
thought
agrees with me.
I thought it was a really cute scene. Like, Bo's like, I've never worn a dress before, and she comes out, and he kind of goes silent and like a little teary-eyed, and he's like, you look beautiful, you look like your mom. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, who's paying for these clothes? I feel like they're struggling to eat on the run, and yet they're buying like a suit and tie and this like cute little dress.
I just took that it was vintage. I thought it was vintage clothing.
Do you know how expensive vintage clothing
It depends.
Clothing is in this town.
In this town, not in Philadelphia, and it depends where you get it. So
maybe.
It's cash economy because they're not having credit cards. Nobody can trace them. So maybe Winter's dealing drugs on the side. He's just got cash.
Please, no, I think he has a lot
Winter's
of money from
had
being
some
a
drugs
doctor.
to give to Channing though, so let's not put that past
Let's
him.
not put that past him.
All right,
I know Winter's got some kind of, I don't know how they're financing
He
it,
may
but
not be all there when it comes to the planning and executing of these plans because there aren't good plans, but he is not a drug pusher. Let the record show.
We'll see.
we will see.
Oh my gosh, you two, I can't even handle. I need Studley over here with me to keep me safe.
That's like a common theme of our after show is the two who are off the lead host gang up on the lead host. Just whatever
All the
it is.
time.
Just constantly.
I don't want to lead host anymore. Well, before we continue, I want to stop and talk about something very near and dear to my heart, something that I think everybody at AfterBuzz and everybody at home should look into and appreciate. Our founder, Maria Menounos, actually just came out with her second book. It actually hits stores tomorrow, June 3rd. It's called Maria Menounos' The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness. It's a follow-up to her first book, and it talks about how she lost 40 pounds and kept it off. And we're going to show you a little clip about it right now from Maria.
Hey guys, Maria Menounos here, and I want to share my newest book, The Every Girl's Guide to Diet and Fitness, with you. Basically, every woman always stops me and asks me how I lost 40 pounds. So I decided to put it all in one book. Everything I did to lose 40 pounds step by step, and how you can too, is in here. I did it with no time, no money, and no willpower, and now I'm going to show you how to do it too. You can pre-order it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart, wherever books are sold, and it's out June 3rd. So I hope you guys love it. I hope it helps you in your weight loss journey, and please, please tweet me and update me on your progress at Maria Menounos. Thanks.
All right. That is just a little tidbit about the book. There's lots of photos. There's little tips on all the pages. So there's a lot of great stuff in here. So you can pick it up in stores tomorrow. So go check that out. And in the meantime, before we can go pick up the book, we can finish talking about Believe. So let's go back into, I want to go into the penthouse. I want to go just right into the meeting of them and talk about, those first words, that first look at each other. Because we already know she was scared. They're at the conference.
Well, let's talk about the conference real fast, because something huge happens at the conference where Tate wants to tell Bo that he loves her.
Oh my gosh, yes! Thank you. You guys slapped my wrist for forgetting.
Oh, seriously, now you know why we're ganging up on you.
This is
such a cute scene.
Yes.
And Tate tells Bo.
He still didn't say it.
Well, he didn't say
Yeah, I'm so mad he didn't repeat it though.
No, I know, but
he's like, I could read your mind. I know you love me, but at least say the 3 words.
But hang on, Bo didn't say them either, because she had to come back to him later and say, "Oh, hey, by the way, I love you too." I didn't say it back. My bad.
Yeah, but he didn't say it. She didn't have anything to say. I love you too.
What
back.
do you think the series finale's for next week?
All right.
It's gonna be a whole love fest. Don't you know? They're not doing anything dramatic. They're going to the beach. That's what the last thing is.
They're
it's
just
gonna be
gonna,
Bo and Tate dancing.
reminisce.
Spoiler alert, what were you background on the episode?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
Oh, we're not in predictions, so you can't predict that.
I know, I'm kidding. But no, that's huge for them. And it's cute how Tate forgets that, like, oh, right, you can read minds.
I actually, for the first time, kind of loved how he's like, you see that badge? We need that badge. Go do your thing. Because, like, I don't usually like when he's like, go work miracles, little one, you know? But this one, of course, is, like, for their best interest. And this is because this is a plan that Bo wanted, that she is just kind of going on her own with, and Tate is just 100% supportive. He did not question it at all from the start. This is the first time we're seeing him just kind of like support her plan. And this is the scariest and probably dumbest plan to just sort of like not second guess.
Yeah, he always fights back. Whenever she wants to help someone, he's always like, no, we have to think about ourselves. And this is a situation where they need to think about themselves the most.
Which maybe that's
like,
why.
Let's go ahead.
Because there's no one else at stake, you know, and he's like, let's think about ourselves, and she wants to go put an end to this. And so in his mind, he's like, okay, well, if this means not running, I'm in.
And I mean, the whole I love you exchange, they want to be a family.
Yeah.
And to be a regular family, they have to put an end to this running and constant chasing.
Well, and like you said, the repetition, I mean, obviously they're fictitious characters, but you get sick of that. Like, that lifestyle isn't a lifestyle, and there's no end to it, and they're just losing people, and it's getting more and more dangerous. So I mean, I guess I kind of agree with Bo in the sense that it's like, that's really the only thing that can happen in order to have any hope of the life that we want, the family life and the normal sort of more anonymous life. You know, so they go to the conference, they get the badge. I love the way they got the badge. And then they get in, and they're starting to, you know, mess with the security guys. And they work their way through.
They get face to face, and you can, like, when Skouras sees Bo, it's almost like I don't quite understand the relationship.
I do. I very much do. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, why? I mean, I know he's infatuated with her, and like he created Orchestra because of her, but it's just a little weird.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's a little. I think Skouras is very conflicted because even though Skouras had maybe the most to do with Nina's death, even though he has to do with Danny's downfall in a way, and he's very brutal to some of these other subjects, I think Skouras very clearly, deeply, and authentically cares about Bo's well-being. And so he's very, very torn that he wants Bo to do well. He wants her to be safe. On some level, I think deep down, he wants her to go and leave and be with her dad. But he's also very driven for his career and what he wants and his influence. And so he's like, you know, I'd love to see that, but I can't let you do it. I have to bring you back, and there's no other option. And so he's got to be firm in that way. I think he's scared of Danny. He kind of feels ambivalent towards the rest of these people with powers.
I don't think he's really scared of Danny yet.
Well, he will be, later he will be.
Soon.
He's unsure about Danny. But I think
like,
with Bo...
hello, now do you see what Zoe was talking about, Skouras?
By the way, we didn't see Zoe at all.
By the way, we haven't seen Zoe.
That's why I had to bring her up, because, like,
but
that's what I thought watching.
But that's my point about Skouras is Bo is kind of their first baby, literally, because Nina had Bo at Orchestra. So Bo is their first baby, and it's always something special about that. And even though he has all these career-driven motives and these influences and stuff, he still really wants her to be happy, so it's really tearing him apart. He'll always probably choose his career, maybe not next week. I don't know what'll happen.
You think he wants her to be happy?
I think he does. I really think he does. I really think he does.
But her being...
But his version of her happiness. Right. Which isn't her being happy. I guess it's sort of where I question it.
Or he's worried about if she goes and does, become happy and is happy doing her own thing, will she out us? Will she hurt us? Will she do something to harm Orchestra? Will something else negative happen?
It sounds like she can't. I mean, it sounds like he pretty much has the government in his pocket at this point. And so
I don't know if I go that far, especially after
I think it's
getting Tate exonerated and some of the things that he said. And I know, like Tate said, he's saying anything he can, but we've already seen this season. He point blank shot Channing,
and he didn't go to jail,
on the streets in front of an agent, and didn't even spend a moment in jail. In custody, yes. In jail, no. So he could probably get Tate exonerated. I 100% agree with that. Because what Skouras wants, he gets typically, except when it comes to this and Bo. And so, yes, I think he genuinely wants her to come there and be happy. And I think he believes that she could be happiest there because she wouldn't have to run and she wouldn't have to do all these other things. But it's at the expense of her freedom in a sense. So it's like, I'm not running, but I also don't get that normal life, because how is it normal to go live on a compound with a bunch of other telekinetic or special people, some of which are dying or some of which are, being experiment. I mean, they're experimenting on, you know,
Absolutely.
what these different powers are and how they work and maybe how they work together. And so I think he loves Bo, and I think it's because of any of them, she has shown the most promise. And I think that it's also because it was Nina's daughter. You know, there's sort of that sentimental connection to her. And I think he did have her best interest at heart until Nina did that final example, the positive example, or however he worded it, which is the one that killed her, that it's like, okay, now, like, because of that, all of these people have this expectation for me to deliver that wasn't there before because we hadn't created this expectation yet. Now the expectation has been created. It cost us Nina. And so Bo's our only chance. And it's that, you know, she has this ability that needs to be used, but I also have these expectations now that I've created and I have to fulfill, or else kind of a thing. My name, everything is sort of on the line. Like you said, he cares about his career. And so it was going to end badly, and I think it actually ended the best way that it could. I loved that he ended up being right about Winter, not because I wanted Winter or Milton, sorry guys, Milton to be, you know, I didn't want him to be at fault, and I love the way that they actually made it. He didn't do it. He didn't stop it from happening, and I like that he said, I don't know.
Yeah, during the whole penthouse scene, Skouras really made me think, like, wait, like, what, you know, what was Milton, she has me saying Milton
Winter.
now, Winter's involvement in this, because she, you know, Skouras is like, is that what he told you, that I killed your foster parents, that I killed your mom, that, I don't know, there was a third thing that he
Shooting
did.
Channing.
Shooting Channing. Is that what he told you? Is that why you hate me? And he's like, that's not true. I don't know why you said that. And he's like, you know, let me tell you the truth. And for a second there, I'm like, wait, what's
Biggest
Winter,
twist ever.
what if Winter is this horrible person and he's just like playing the whole other side as a front? It really made me question it for a second.
Hey, listen, maybe Winter is a horrible
Definitely.
person, depending on how you look at what he did with Nina. You can make the case that the person who performs the guilty act, whatever the act is, murder or what, you know, whatever you want to say, just generally speaking, the person who performs the guilty act is bad enough and guilty enough. But the person who stands idly by and watches it happen when they have the power to stop it may actually be worse.
You can say it.
Well,
I think we're on the same page.
I don't know. I was just going to say that even if Winter tried to stop it, Skouras would have overridden it.
I don't think he could have
Hold
stopped
on,
it.
And
hold
then-
on. No, hold on. Remember, this is Winter and Skouras' relationship years ago before Bo was born. They were partners on this thing before Winter left. I think they were equal at that point. When Winter left and he went rogue, Skouras went rogue himself. I think if Winter really put his foot down, he could have done a lot more than he did.
Because I think he would have if he thought that his opinion would have made a difference, which is why he says agreed, and you can see
You
it
can
in
see
his
it in his
face.
face.
But you
There's
can-
all
He
those
didn't
generals
agree.
like waiting
Oh,
for this
I know-
test to happen. He's not going to let all those people down when he's told them.
And because
But that's the point. He didn't agree, and he knows
Well,
he's guilty for sitting there and letting it happen.
Yes, but the other thing is, and I think that this was a valid point, and I like that they played it this way because it doesn't make Winter the bad guy. I mean, it leaves it up for your own opinion, and so
Right.
everybody will have theirs on it. Let us know what yours is. Do you think that, you know, Milton sort of is on the verge of being one of the bad guys, or if he still
He
did
is
the right
to me,
thing?
for sure.
You
Not
think?
not the worst guy, but he is a bad guy for sitting by when he
Here's
could
the
have done more
thing.
to stop it.
He said
But-
he didn't know, and she may have the same exact thing may have happened had she not done that in the same time frame.
Yeah.
And that's what kills him, is because he doesn't know. He doesn't know if he actually enabled and basically led her to her deathbed, or, you know, at the same time, if she was already showing signs of the degrade, it sounds like it still is unknown enough that at that point she'd already been pushed too far, and it was probably done in a way that they had no idea that they were pushing her too far. This is the first time they've ever seen this. So they don't, you know, it's like, it was just sort of one of those, like, it's just a lose-lose, because she's gonna die now because she already got pushed too far. So she's gonna die short of when she should, regardless. This just may or may not have been the catalyst. It sounds like now, with more research and having more people go through it, they now know that, yes, that probably is what did it, because the using of their abilities is a catalyst for the degrade. Which I loved in this episode too, where they show the actual rash, and the degrade had never actually been like a tangible thing. It was just sort of this word they used, which I like that they, you know, kind of connected it to something where it was like, oh, like they actually have a way of measuring it, and it's like something you can see in, I don't want to call them subjects, in the kids or in the special
orchestra
people.
members.
Yes.
But
that was a good pun.
I didn't even try. But back to Winter real quick. I think, you know, he has that guilt. He, you know, whether you think he's responsible or not, but he's tried to make up for it his whole life by taking care of Bo.
Okay, that to me screams even more guilty. If you were a little bit of guilty,
he 100% is guilt. I'm not talking about being guilty. I'm talking about being a good or a bad guy.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why it's so much worse what he did.
That made a bad call.
And is making up for it.
But who cares? If a good guy murders someone, is he still a good guy if he makes a bad decision? You know, I mean, these are big moral debates. But my point is with Winter, if Winter spent the last 10 years trying to make up for it, he knows in his heart how bad that was, how responsible he was, how guilty he was, and how awful it was to sit idly by. He is digging his own grave of guilt by making up for it for 10 years. You know, if he had done a little bit and washed his hands and said, I really couldn't have done anything, Skouras was in charge, I'm so sorry this happened, but I can't do anything, it'd have been one thing if Skouras was in charge.
I think the guilt comes from the not knowing. Because he doesn't know if he could have stopped it or not. But he knows he didn't try.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Making it up for it for 10 years showcases to me just how awful, and I'm not saying he's the worst guy on the show, but just how bad he is to have done something like that and then have to make up for it for 10 years and have to feel like he's almost kind of become a martyr of his own cause, of his own situation here to make up for this horrible thing that he let happen. It's not evil to me, but it's pretty bad.
But then Bo forgives him.
Yeah, haven't you made a mistake before? Haven't you made a mistake before?
Yeah.
Does that make you a bad person for the end of time?
No, but it depends on the severity of the mistake. Causing a mother's death after the child is born is a bad mistake.
But we don't know if he caused it. That's the debate.
I think he's done more good for Bo over the last 10 years than bad.
Yes.
So but if a murderer, I love how we're talking about like the philosophy of moral.
Yeah, no, we're not talking
we're
about
not getting into it.
But this matters because this thing for Winter is he seems like such a, to me, he's always seemed like such a good guy. And tonight we learn about him, and it turns out he's not a great guy. And I think he's a pretty bad guy because he sat idly by. And so do 10 years of good deeds with Bo automatically make up for losing Bo's mother or sitting idly by and not doing anything to stop them from losing Bo's mother?
These are questions I can't answer because I don't know.
I'm just asking. I'm just throwing them out there.
I mean, I see your point, but to my point, and Courtney agreed with me, I don't think he could have stopped it.
I agree with that.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And that's where the crux of this argument is if he could have stopped it, which is what I believe, he's a bad dude.
Then he's a bad dude.
If he couldn't have stopped it, which is what you believe, he was helpless in the situation and he's trying to make the most of it.
Yes.
Right.
That's where the crux is. So if you're at home and you're watching this.
He put himself in a position where he could change it.
Tell us who you agree with here.
That's the thing. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. If you're at home and you're watching this or listening to this.
Bobby, you're wrong.
No, I'm talking about them.
Oh, well.
I'm
going to go home and watch this and I'm going to yell, you're wrong.
Every YouTube comment.
I have a feeling
Bobby's wrong. Bobby's wrong.
I have a feeling people are going to agree with me.
I don't know.
You always think that.
They always do.
See.
They don't always.
Well, 99% of the time.
No, that's not true. But more importantly, let's move on. Let's talk about Winter and Channing.
Haven't we been talking about Winter?
No, but not with Channing and what's going on with their storyline. I actually don't like talking about this because we see what Winter does to that doctor.
I know.
Oh boy. Hey, what did Winter do to that doctor?
I know. What a segue from my point. Goodness.
He's still doing it out of the goodness of his heart, okay? He's kidnapping someone for good.
That was the first thing where I was like, Winter, like, you're kind of crossing the line here. Like, you don't.
But he's up against the wall. Like, she is dying. She has an infection. There's still a hole in her stomach.
But they're going to have to take her to they still end up having to take her to a hospital. So it's like, you don't get to play God in the sense of,
And
forcing.
No, that was a key scene. And whether or not it speaks to Winter being a bad guy, it speaks to another personality trait of Winter, which is forcing and delineating what happens. And good leaders are going to have to lead when it gets tough,
Right.
but they're also going to have to know when to delegate to other people. And I know it's weird to like delegate Channing's wound to herself, but the doctor was right when he was talking to Winter, saying you need to at the very least let her control her own
But
destiny a
didn't
little bit.
she say, "I don't want to go. I
She
don't want to.
did.
I don't want to
But
be
we
in
needed-
prison
we
my
needed to
whole
hear that
life"?
from her.
But that was before the doctor said
It was,
it to
but
her.
it's also, it hadn't been put to her where it's like you go to a hospital or you die.
Yeah.
I
Because
think
Winter
she
wasn't
knew.
willing to. Well, she probably did, but she knew if she didn't say it that I feel like that Winter would go maybe to some extreme, which maybe that's on her a little bit too. I don't know. I mean, but it's also like, how do you expect somebody in the state that she's in to make rational decisions? Because, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, the way that things are set up in hospitals now, you have somebody that also has the ability to make decisions on your behalf in those instances where you're not able to make them for yourself because of those, because with you're sick and dying and 105-degree temperature getting worse and worse. How do you make the right decision?
By the way, I am no doctor, so I just play one on this show. 105-degree fever
Not good.
is like immediate death right there. I don't
Not
know what
good.
the number is, but when you start getting up over 101, 102, you're dying it only takes a couple degrees to die. I don't know if you can get to 105.
It's not good.
That may be a
I
writing,
watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy. 105 is not good.
that may be a writing inconsistency. I don't know if you'd survive that long. at
The whole
105.
Channing
He
thing
said
is a writing
104.
inconsistency because they're getting into a helicopter to go to this random hospital that they're going to be able to go to. And Channing is like walking and hopping into a helicopter when she has a hole in her stomach. And I'm just like, she would have to be on a gurney being carried. I don't get how she's okay sometimes and on her deathbed the other times.
Well, I will say when we were watching
it's
this,
true.
What is in the water here today?
when we were there is no water. When we were watching this, I said something about that. Now I don't remember what it is.
But
so
who's
I'm
the
thinking
other
about the
girl
water.
on their team? Who's the girl?
Leeds.
Leeds is like helping her. Like Channing has her arm around Leeds. I'm like, Leeds is not doing anything right now. So how is Channing walking? Tell me.
Oh, I remember
I have
what
no
I
idea.
said.
I agree with you 100% on
when
that.
when Channing comes in and she's like, Bo, help me, and the guys are sleeping.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's like, how did she get so much work? Just like because an hour after she had surgery, she's like trotting around the space. And now, of course, it's like
I don't know if she was trotting
like-
around or if she was.
You know what I mean?
She was like
That's an
sitting up at a
exaggerated-
computer.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
She,
That's what I'm
she's,
saying.
She's tweeting or something.
At least.
No, she was looking at the pipelines for them.
I know.
Come on.
Bottom
Bobby.
line, Channing is either 100% or like 0.
Yeah, there's no grade of in between with
No.
Channing, which is really weird. But so back to this inconsistency with her and the fever, though, it speaks more to this idea that Winter, when we talk about him and Channing, still has no idea what to do. He knows to go get this doctor. He knows he's probably going to have to kidnap him, which he does. But even then, Winter is, for somebody who is a leader and very... one thing I noticed today, and we talk about it excuse me, we see it a lot, and we've never talked about it. Winter always refers to people as Mr. Tate, Miss Leeds, Miss Channing. He's very
is that?
formal and professional. I think that's a conscious decision, obviously, by writers and by maybe the actor Delroy Lindo, to be very professional, very upright.
Because he's the leader.
You are the leader. You are the oldest one there. Don't let that be lost on you either. You're the oldest one there, the most experienced one. You have to be a pro. You got to be, straight up and down all the time, while everybody else can kind of Tate gets emotional, Channing gets emotional, whatever.
It
This is
also
all
makes
great.
them like respect him.
I think so.
And like look up to him.
But that's the dichotomy. Everyone respects him. He's very, reverential almost in a weird way. But guess what? He has no clue what he's doing.
Well,
Still.
he's reverential because he started orchestra, and him and Skouras obviously felt like it should go in very different directions, different enough that he left, and they respect him for, I think, having the ability and courage to do that, not knowing what's going to happen because of it. And I think that's why we see so much in the season, that repetition and all of those kind of repeated stories, same song, second verse kind of a thing. Because, and maybe that's to the fault of the show, and maybe why we don't get a second season, because they were trying to figure out kind of like the dynamic between these characters and how the dynamic was going to go and how this was going to evolve, and they just spent too long making those decisions.
And then they finally make a decision in this episode when Tate's like, or when Bo says, I want to go with my dad, and doesn't get on the helicopter with Winter. You finally get a major decision, and we only have one episode left.
And he let her go. And he called her dad. I mean, he didn't call it to her face, but again, we see the reference to dad. And she said it 2 or 3 times. Yeah.
This, I don't know if we've ever talked about this on air before, but this would have been so good as a miniseries. Like how True Detective came in and it was only X number of episodes and it's done. Believe would have been so good as like a 5 or 6 episode miniseries. Pack more in, be a little bit quicker, break down all these episodes a little bit different. And if this, what happened today, comes up in like episode 4 of a 6 episode miniseries, it's like, oh buddy, we're humming along right now and the end is near. But as a season that was going to get renewed, it was going to be too repetitive. And a season that gets canceled, which it is a little depressing, you know? So it's like you can't win. A miniseries, I think, would have been... That has nothing to do with Channing.
And going back to what you said about them buying the clothes and, like, where did the money come from? The first thing I thought when she says, I'm going with my dad, I'm like, how are they going to pay for anything?
He's still,
literally my first thought.
He's still a fugitive. And I mean, his face is on every wanted poster. I mean, I guess the news coverage has died down, obviously.
One word, man. Mexico.
All right.
Well, I have a prediction about this, which we'll get to after we talk about Danny.
She freaks me out so much.
Wait, Danny's scary? I kind of like her.
Oh my god.
I'm kidding. She's horrifying.
Don't even say that.
Okay, first question about Danny V is, Courtney, I asked you this in the viewing room, and Kate, I will open this up to you now. Danny is, what, 4, 5, 6 years older than Bo? Maybe even older than that? Bo's about 10. Danny looks 15,
16,
18, something like that.
16 to 18.
Okay. Why is a 16 to 8-year-old so jealous?
16 to 8-year-old?
18. 16 to 18-year-old.
I just had to give you a hard time.
So jealous of a 10-year-old. I know that the powers are here, so it's different. It's orchestra. But it's just a weird idea to have...
Go ahead.
I think it's because... Yes, she's 18 years old, but I don't think she has the mental capacity of an 18-year-old.
Agreed.
I think her mentality or her mental state is stilted because she was abandoned her whole life and all of these things and not understanding these things that she can do and having no explanation and being an outcast her whole life. And I think it's just when Skouras being the first person really in her life that she identifies with as somebody that's actually on her team and believes in her and wants to help her, when there's someone else that he appreciates or values or like brings in closer to his heart than you're gonna be jealous. You know, when he's the only one you have, and clearly this Bo girl, as she probably thinks of her, you know, has all of these other people, and it's like, why do you need me to go get her, and what's going to happen if I help you get her? What's going to happen to me? I think it's just sort of that survival mentality of having to always take care of herself, and just that jealousy of, the one person that appreciates me and values me still values someone else more, and that person could jeopardize... I think she thinks Bo could jeopardize Skouras caring about her at all.
Yeah, I think that we saw the like immense infatuation she had with Skouras right away.
So we're talking daddy issues.
Obsession with
Skouras.
I would say obsession with Bo.
But
and their
due to her
relationship,
obsession with Skouras, she became obsessed with Bo because, like you said, she stood in the way. Because, like you said, this is the first guy that came in and accepted her for who she is. We all know she had a troubled childhood. We all know that she killed her brother. If she did a mistake or intentionally, we don't know, but she's a little messed up. And Skouras kind of accepts her and gives her all these things, and she wants to, I don't know, make him proud, or like, I don't know what it is, but she is not happy that he loves Bo more, and she's gonna do something about it.
She's a little salty.
And I think it's as simple as that. I think why it's as simple as that is not simple at all, if that makes sense. It's as simple as just the one person that loves her loves someone else more. But the reason why that bothers her so much is very complex because of all of her issues, etc. The thing about her also that I want to point out that I actually liked was that she actually did trust Skouras. Like, she actually opened up herself to him, because we see when she gets the little sore on her arm, She goes to the infirmary. She reads the nurse's mind, and the nurse says it's not polite to read people without their permission. We know she read Zoe's mind. We know she read Channing's mind. And when she goes and asks Skouras face to face about it, and he says the truth is I don't know. We've seen these things. She didn't read him. She left him alone. And it wasn't until she saw the other girl sitting outside and then get taken away that she kind of looked more into it and followed them into whatever that building was, like the dye house.
Creepy.
I mean,
very creepy. But she caught him in a lie, because she goes and sees all these people. They obviously know, maybe they don't know what the cause is or how to fix it, but they know what it is, and they're trying to treat it, and they've obviously set up this huge place dedicated to that. So she catches him in a lie, and that's what hurts her the most. So she's like, wait, when he's coming in through the gate and she's waiting in the road, I thought something way worse was going to happen. Like, there was going to be some crazy mind tricks
all she really did was like
she just
call
confronts
him out. Yeah. And I think for the first time, and this is what made me think of Zoe, was because Danny gags Skouras so that he can't speak.
That's her go-to move.
But that's when he got a taste of what Zoe was talking about. And I think hopefully, I mean, we probably won't see Zoe again, but hopefully for my peace of mind, it makes him realize it wasn't that Zoe was necessarily a complete traitor, as again just a difference, like a creative difference or a difference in vision. And now Skouras is seeing what Zoe saw and why Zoe said the things she said, at least about Danny. Although I don't know, like seeing the previews for next week, or sorry, 2 weeks from now for the finale, I don't really, where is Danny better off? It's almost like you can't really control her here, but can you keep her calm and somewhat mannered?
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In a place like Orchestra
as far
versus just like
along-
letting her loose to just.
The scary
Run
thing about
rampant?
Danny is, as far along as she is with the degrade, it's over for her already. She's a walking corpse. She's going to die very soon. So she has nothing to lose, which is scary because she can do whatever she wants to Skouras. What's the difference? And she can do whatever she wants to Bo, who she already wants to harm. What's the difference? She's dying anyways. So when you have, it's a wounded animal. The most dangerous animal is a wounded animal, and she's there. She's gone already. So she's going to take whoever she can with her, I think. And that's what's so scary about Danny is she was already, kind of a sociopath.
She was so scary already.
And now she's like, well, who cares? I have nothing to live for. My life was miserable before. I come to Orchestra to look at these powers. Oh, guess what? My life's still miserable. I hate it here, too. And I'm dying. Forget it.
Yeah.
I have nothing to lose.
So then she walks out of the gate, and she's going for Bo. And
Absolutely.
And Skouras calls. Now that Tate and Bo have left, Skouras calls Winter saying, I need your help.
Which Skouras doesn't know that Winter doesn't have Bo and Tate.
Exactly.
So do you think he's calling because he thinks Winter has Bo and that Bo's their only chance? And legitimately
To warn her.
And this is what I was talking about earlier with Skouras and why there's some good in him about Bo and something authentic about Bo. He's calling Winter for help on Danny, a.k.a. I need help on Danny because she's going for Bo and we need to save Bo. And while Skouras and Winter may have different goals at the end with saving Bo, the act of saving is a priority for both of them because they both care about her.
Which is why I don't think Skouras would ever call Milton for any other reason. I think, that this is sort of the last straw, and he knows that almost in a way, the only way to save or protect Bo is almost together. Kind of like, now it's coming full circle back to, they're not going to work together on anything else, but at least to get involved.
I can tell you one thing they're going to work together on, and this is getting into prediction territory, but I think...
Let's go into news and gossip first, and then we'll go into predictions.
Okay.
AfterBuzz TV News.
We've only got one piece of news today, very quick. I have a debate question if you guys want to open it up to the audience later, too. But we can do that at the end of the show.
Are you going to open it up to us?
Well, yeah, of course, but I'd like to... Well, you're not going to be here for the series finale, so I guess we will open it up to us right now. Okay. But before we do that, let's get to the news. So, for the football fans among us, which includes me, I don't know if you two are football fans.
I like football.
What football are we talking?
NFL, like professional football. American football.
Go Packers.
All right. Well,
Go Chargers.
the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. I'm glad you guys apparently don't care about this team. Marshawn Lynch, star running back for that team. He is starring in a new movie about his life that is slated to be released at the end of 2014. He grew up in a very tough neighborhood in Oakland, California, beat the odds to make it as a professional football player. We've heard that story a lot for a lot of athletes, but apparently it's a very interesting story about what he overcame with violence and family issues and whatever. Why do I mention this?
yeah,
Well,
why do you mention this?
Winter, Milton Winter, your buddy on Believe. The actor's name is Delroy Lindo. He is also from Oakland. He is playing a lead in that movie. Apparently, he's going to star with Lynch. I don't know if it's his father or a football coach or whatever it is, but he's going to play a lead in that movie. So, end of 2014. I didn't get a name on the movie yet. We'll see about that. Lynch, the football player, is also producing it, so we'll see how good it turns out. But Lindo's got a connection with Oakland, so maybe it'll be pretty good. So
That's exciting. Well, at least we know Milton's got somewhere to go.
we never do any Milton Winter news, so I kind of wanted to do something. I looked up Delroy Lindo on IMDb. Guy's been working for like 30 years. He's
Oh, heck yeah.
great actor, so...
He's one of those where it's like you wouldn't remember him in anything, but he's in everything.
I've seen
until
that guy
Believe.
before. Who is he?
Yeah.
But you don't know his name.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Well, it's Delroy Lindo, so go watch everything else he's done, okay? All right, my other thing, let's
what's the
open this up
debate?
to you guys, a little bit of gossip, because as we know, as everybody who's watching this knows, Believe has been canceled. We're lucky it came back after its hiatus. To do our
Yes,
last
we are
episode.
lucky to see these
are.
last few episodes.
So this is a good thing. And the last episode, scheduling-wise, will be back 2 weeks from now, not next week. Panel question for you guys, and we're going to open it up to the audience. Did Believe deserve to be canceled?
Do you want to weigh in since you won't be here?
I want to see the finale first.
Ooh,
All right.
okay.
You'll let us know
I can
your
call
thoughts.
in and
You
say.
can call in.
Do call in, but that's for you guys. We'll recap it at the end of the show again, but get on YouTube and tell us in the comments, or get on Twitter.
Yeah.
We'll do our Twitter handles at the end of the show. Did Believe deserve to be canceled? I know a lot of people are going to say no, but like seriously, think about this deeply from more than just a fan perspective. Ratings or storyline, where were the shortcomings? Do you think it deserved to be canceled, or do you authentically, legitimately think it deserved a
like
second
if
season?
you have
I'd be
an
interested.
argument beyond because I like it.
Yeah.
What
And
would that argument
and
be?
I know, like,
and is it
Believe fan clubs
sustainable?
and stuff follow us on Twitter and tweet us all the time.
Yeah.
I want to
Absolutely.
hear from
We
you
love
guys.
that. Yeah, we
that's
love
awesome.
that.
I know you're a fan of Believe, but be honest with yourself and say, well, should it have been canceled, or what could have it done?
No,
to improve
be
it?
honest with
I'm
Bobby.
interested. Well, no, tweet me. I'm really interested to hear your opinions, because Kate and I, if you call in 2 weeks when you're out, the three of us are going to debate this on the show. That's going to be a big focus of our last episode.
It is.
All
I just
right.
figured that. I just heard that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Apparently that's scheduled for the finale.
It's scheduled
What? I think
in
we-
2 weeks.
Debate.
Wow. All right. Cool, guys. I guess I'll maybe do it
No,
myself.
I have
No,
a good point.
we're not saying.
I'm keeping it quiet till next 2 weeks. I keep saying next week.
That's
2
cool.
weeks from now.
Cool.
All right. Well, any more news and gossip?
No, let's do predictions.
All right, predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I'll start with one. I've got two, but my first one has to do with Winter and Skouras. And you mentioned, Courtney, that Winter and Skouras are probably never going to work on anything again together, and I agree. You're probably right. This Bo idea with Danny is the biggest, and then they're going to go their separate ways or whatever. But what about Channing? Because Skouras has a lot of medical care where he is, and that helicopter's up in the air going somewhere right now. So if Winter and Channing want to stay safe, stay out of prison, stay out of trouble, what they're going to do is fly to Orchestra. Skouras and Winter are going to develop a plan for how to get back at Danny. During that time, the doctors are going to work on Channing, operate, take the bullet out, whatever it is. She's going to, because it's Believe, miraculously get better in like 15 seconds.
Even though they said she needs long-term care.
And then she's gonna kick butt with the rest of them when they go after Danny. Channing's gonna be totally good by the end of the show, and she's gonna be
They
very
have like
involved.
magic medical powers.
I do think that helicopter ends up going to Orchestra.
Definitely.
We've seen
I
in the
do.
past that they're really good about swapping. Like they had Channing, we had Skouras. Let's do a little prisoner swap. So they're really good at exchanging what they
Yeah,
need.
like
I
whatever
like that.
mutually beneficial things.
But to
Yeah.
your point with Danny and the degrade, she's going and she has nothing to lose. She's going to hurt Bo, try and kill Bo. I think she's going to degrade too quickly during this process that she's hopefully, not hopefully, I feel bad for saying that.
You said it though. That is on
It's
record
on record.
forever.
She dies before she could do any harm to Bo.
And I will further that and say I agree they're going to Orchestra. I agree that she's going after Bo. And I think that in that moment, because she's degrading too fast, I think that Bo saves her. And I think that becomes a turning point for Danny.
Ooh, I like that.
chills up my spine.
Because Bo is not a killer.
No, definitely
She's
not a killer.
You know what I mean? And the only way to defeat Danny is to kill her or have her die from the degrade.
We've never
or
seen
to
any
like turn her.
healing powers, though, have we?
Well, healing
but I
physical
mean-
or healing psychological?
I mean, you need kind of both for what Danny's going through.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how
I
you
mean,
reverse
I don't know how
the
the degrade really works.
All right, well, stop putting holes in my prediction.
I liked it, though.
I have one other
I mean,
prediction.
she got light out of nowhere last
That's so
episode,
true.
she's probably gonna get like,
And there was like,
oh, the mirror in the penthouse.
oh,
I
that
know.
was cool.
Yeah.
I
liked
thought that was really cool.
I've got one other
I was
prediction.
like, where did they go?
Okay.
Courtney, I already know you're going to hate this.
Uh-oh.
But Bo needs a mother. Tate needs a girlfriend. Who's around? Who's available to be his girlfriend? Simple answer.
Don't say Channing.
Channing.
Agent Farrell.
We already talked
Yeah,
about
you
that.
want
I know
Agent Farrell. She's not around. Where was she
coming
this
back.
whole
Because
episode?
remember, when at the end of her episode on the subway, she says, I won't be quiet when the time comes. I think the time comes in the series finale.
Maybe.
Agent Farrell shows up, and then Bo walks off into the sunset behind Agent Farrell and Tate holding hands, and Bo and Agent Farrell's daughter are hanging out as best
I know.
friends.
I was like, what happened with
together.
Sasha?
I like them together. I don't hate that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right. Well,
We'll see.
thank you guys so much for watching and joining us. We have one last episode, so stay tuned for that. I am your host, Courtney Henderson, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at COUHEN. Cohen?
You can find me on Twitter at Kate Aquillano.
And I'm on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro. That series finale is 2 weeks from now, not next week. Kate and I will be here. Courtney's going to call in. She's traveling.
Lame.
Loser. And remember, guys, hey, debate question on YouTube. Did Believe deserve to get canceled? We want to hear what you have to say, yay or nay.
I'm torn.
I know. Well, we'll see. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Till next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro,
Thank
Phil
you for watching
Svitek, and the
AfterBuzz
entire
TV on
AfterBuzz
YouTube. For
TV
more-
staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.